Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got some kids for you in this dialogue. They're doing something that's very common in America. I'm not so sure if it's common elsewhere, but we'll find that out later.
So today we're going to ask for money because we are having a fundraiser. So this is a very interesting word. Why don't we take a look at it in vocabulary preview?
Vocabulary preview.
So fundraiser is a thing. It's an event. It's something that you do at a school or a business to try and collect money for a special event or charity.
That's right. So money, you can also say, is funds, right? And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to collect, you're trying to gather a lot of money or funds in order for, like you say, some sort of objective purpose.
Right, but it's not just like we're having a fundraiser to earn more profits this year. It's
Right.
usually an event that's for some kind of charity or good cause. So, for example, the company is having a fundraiser for Jenny's child because he's sick and they can't pay for medical care.
Right.
So fundraiser is for a good cause.
Exactly. So that's what this dialogue is all about today. Why don't we listen to the dialogue for the first time, and we'll be back in a bit.
Okay, Mark, it's your turn to ring the doorbell. I did it last time.
I hate going door to door, and I hate asking for money.
But we need to raise enough money for the school fundraiser so that our class can win the pizza party. You do want to have a pizza party, don't you?
Yes, but
Just go already.
no one's coming.
Try again.
Maybe there's no one home.
Of course there's someone home. There are 2 cars in the driveway and I can see lights on in the house. Hello? Anybody home? We would like to know if you want to sponsor us in our school fundraiser. 50% of the profits go towards the new school playground.
I don't know why anyone would want what's in this catalog anyway. It's just a bunch of tacky Christmas ornaments, CDs of old people singing Christmas songs, and special crackers and cheeses and boxes of chocolates.
You don't like chocolate?
Not this kind. They've got weird names like Ganache and Praline.
Look, I just saw someone walking around inside. These people are being very rude. Finally, someone's coming.
They don't look too happy.
Hi, sir. Would you like to sponsor us or make a donation to
What grade are you kids in?
grade 7?
Then for goodness sake, don't you see this sign? Can't you read?
No soliciting?
All right, so obviously the kids are selling candy and a lot of different things for their new playground. That's the fundraiser, right? So they use a lot of interesting words and phrases there. Why don't we take a look at a couple of them on Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
Well, the first word is one that, Marco, you've already talked a little bit about today. We talked about fundraiser, to raise. Well, we do have the verb here, to raise enough money. So raise is a verb that means to collect or gather or to get.
That's right. So you wouldn't really say we are collecting money or we are gathering money. You say we are raising money for the victims of the earthquake in Haiti.
That's right. So the reason we don't say we are earning money is because you're not doing any work.
Right.
Really. You're not going to the job at 9 o'clock and leaving the job at 5 o'clock. You're actually asking people for donations.
Exactly. So that's what you're doing. You are raising money. And now moving on, another way that you can help people maybe through a charity or donation is also to sponsor someone or something.
Okay, so people can sponsor events or people, and companies can also do this as well. So to sponsor someone is basically to give them money in support of a cause.
Right.
For example, have you ever done one of those 5K runs or 10K runs? Did you have to collect sponsors basically to find people who would help pay money for you to do this run?
Not personally, but I know people who have, who actually get companies interested, and maybe that person, for example, is going to run 5 kilometers in this race in order to raise money for victims of some serious illness. And so they get sponsors, they get companies to to donate money for this cause.
Right. You could have a person or a company sponsor you. They could be your sponsor by giving you money that you can then use for this charity or special cause.
That's right. But the difference between a fundraiser and to sponsor something or someone is that sponsoring is not always for a charity or for some sort of non-profit cause, right? We have many sponsors for concerts or for sporting events.
That's right. So oftentimes when you see athletes, they have their sponsors or their sponsors' logos written all over their jerseys, the clothes that they wear. So, for example, if you're watching Formula One racing, you see the Ferrari and the bank emblems and all these different things.
That's right. So those are different ways of sponsoring events or people. And now moving on, we have a word that's, well, not really related to money and fundraisers, but it's a very interesting word and very common. When the kids mention that they're selling a bunch of tacky Christmas ornaments.
Tacky. Okay, you're going to hear this a lot, and the interesting thing about the word tacky is that it means something different to everyone. So what I think is tacky might be just normal for Marco, and what Marco thinks is really tacky might be something that I actually like.
Right.
And so tacky is basically a bad thing. It means something is not good looking or not very
fashionable. It's like in bad taste. But as you say, taste is something subjective, right? So maybe, for example,
sometimes we say that when girls wear too much makeup, it's very tacky.
Right.
Bright red lipstick and blue eyeshadow.
Exactly. So a guy might say, oh, that's so tacky. Whereas another person might not think it's tacky at all. So this happens a lot, and we use this word a lot with decorations, for example. For someone's house, you may describe it as tacky, or a restaurant or a bar.
Right, so for maybe sometimes those Italian restaurants that have the red and white checkered tablecloths and the pictures of the Italians with the mustaches, I might think that's a little bit tacky, but maybe you think it's cute.
Right. So something that's tacky. And as we say, people use it all the time. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You can just say, oh, it's a little bit tacky, or I think this thing is a little bit tacky. Yeah. Okay. And that's it, right? Solicit, okay. And our final word on language takeaway, towards the end of the dialogue, when the kids were reading the sign said no soliciting, and they didn't understand what that means. What does it mean when you have a sign that says no soliciting?
Okay, so to solicit is to try to sell something or to offer a service. So basically the sign means, please don't come to my house and sell me stuff.
Okay.
For example, we have door-to-door insurance salesmen or makeup salespeople, and these people go to your door and they try to sell you their product. And no soliciting means, don't come to my house. I'm not going to answer the door if you're trying to sell something.
So to solicit is to try and sell something. Okay, but usually in person, trying to make a sale uninvited, right?
That's
because
right.
If you're a businessman and you have a meeting, a sales meeting, you're not really soliciting with that other person.
No, this is basically trying to sell something to a stranger.
Exactly. Okay, very good. So a lot of interesting words there. Why don't we listen to the dialogue again, and we'll be back shortly with Fluency Builder.
Okay, Mark, it's your turn to ring the doorbell. I did it last time.
I hate going door to door, and I hate asking for money.
But we need to raise enough money for the school fundraiser so that our class can win the pizza party. You do want to have a pizza party, don't you?
Yes, but...
Just go already.
No one's coming.
Try again.
Maybe there's no one home.
Of course there's someone home. There are 2 cars in the driveway, and I can see lights on in the house. Hello? Anybody home? We would like to know if you want to sponsor us in our school fundraiser. 50% of the profits go towards the new school playground.
I don't know why anyone would want what's in this catalog anyway. It's just a bunch of tacky Christmas ornaments, CDs of old people singing Christmas songs, and special crackers and cheeses and boxes of chocolates.
You don't like chocolate?
Not this kind. They've got weird names like ganache and praline.
Look, I just saw someone walking around inside. These people are being very rude. Finally, someone's coming.
They don't look too happy.
Hi, sir. Would you like to sponsor us or make a donation to...
What grade are you kids in?
Grade 7.
Then for goodness sake, don't you see this sign? Can't you read?
No soliciting?
All right, so now we're back and we have 4 key phrases for you on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, this first phrase is a pretty common one. We wanted to make sure that everyone was comfortable with the verb that goes with doorbell. So, Marco, what do you do to a doorbell?
You ring the doorbell.
You ring the doorbell.
So you don't touch it, you don't press it. You can press it, but you ring the doorbell. That's the verb.
Okay, so for example, when I was little, my brother and I always used to fight about who could ring the doorbell.
Really?
Yes. I loved ringing the doorbell, and so did he.
Do you do the long ring or do you do the
Ding, 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 ding.
you do it like that.
The annoying ring. Yeah, so to ring the doorbell.
All right. And, well, going back, when we were talking about no soliciting, you said that salespeople go door to door selling things. Mm-hmm. So this is an interesting phrase, and it's a fixed phrase, going door to door.
Well, think about it. So a salesperson who wants to sell maybe some makeup goes to one house and no one wants to buy any makeup there. So she goes to the next house. So she's going from house to house. But we don't really say house to house because she's going to your door to offer the makeup. So we just say going door to door. That means going to strangers' homes in order. One door after the next to sell something.
Very good. You go door to door. So you, for example, someone can go door to door asking for some sugar.
That's right. Or we could say he is a door-to-door salesman.
Door-to-door salesman. Very good. All right. And now we have an interesting question, and it's a very good one because it's a question that comes up a lot. When somebody asks you, if you're studying, for example, what grade are you in?
Okay, what grade are you in? So in the American system, for example, we have the very, very bottom, grade K, which is kindergarten for maybe a 5-year-old. And at the very top, we have high school, grade 12.
Right.
And so in between, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. And so basically, to find out what year in school a student is, you have to ask him or her, what grade are you in?
Right. So then the person would say, I'm in 6th grade, I'm in 8th grade. But this is the way you ask this question for school, as you said, a kid that's maybe 5 years old all the way to 18 years old in high school. What grade are you in? Now, if you're in university and you want to ask your friend what year of university that person's in, then you say,
what year are you?
What year are you?
Yeah, you don't say grade. So basically, grade refers to, like what you said, Marco, those first 12 years of school. And so we call them we don't call it grade school. So you could ask anybody under the age of 18, what grade are you in? But when you go to university or when you're talking about university students, it gets a little bit different.
So you can say, what year are you in, or what year are you?
So if you're not sure about someone's age and maybe you think they're in college, you can ask them, what year are you? But generally, anyone under 18, what grade are you in?
Okay, good. All right, and our last phrase, and this is kind of an expression, right? Yeah. Goodness sake, for goodness sake.
Okay, so let's look at the context. The kids say, we're in grade 7, and the person at the door says, then for goodness sake, don't you see this sign?
Right, for goodness sake. So this is an expression that's used to indicate maybe you're a little bit frustrated.
Yes.
Right?
So it's like, come on, or my goodness, or for Pete's sake.
For Pete's sake.
We have many ways of saying, all right, come on, I'm a little tired of this.
Right, you're irritating me.
Right, so basically the person's saying, you are too old for this. You're too old for this. You should read what it says on my door. No soliciting.
Right.
And so the person's angry.
Right. The person's angry because these kids are trying to sell her something when clearly she has a sign that says no soliciting.
That's right.
Okay, a lot of interesting phrases there. Why don't we go back, listen to our dialogue for the very last time, and we'll be back to talk with you a little bit more.
Okay, Mark, it's your turn to ring the doorbell. I did it last time.
I hate going door to door, and I hate asking for money.
But we need to raise enough money for the school fundraiser so that our class can win the pizza party. You do want to have a pizza party, don't you?
Yes, but...
Just go already.
No one's coming.
Try again.
Maybe there's no one home.
Of course there's someone home. There are 2 cars in the driveway and I can see lights on in the house. Hello? Anybody home? We would like to know if you want to sponsor us in our school fundraiser. 50% of the profits go towards the new school playground.
I don't know why anyone would want what's in this catalog anyway. It's just a bunch of tacky Christmas ornaments, CDs of old people singing Christmas songs, and special crackers and cheeses and boxes of chocolates.
You don't like chocolate?
Not this kind. They've got weird names like ganache and praline.
Look, I just saw someone walking around inside. These people are being very rude. Finally, someone's coming.
They don't look too happy.
Hi, sir. Would you like to sponsor us or make a donation to...
What grade are you kids in?
Grade 7.
Then for goodness sake, don't you see this sign? Can't you read?
No soliciting?
All right, so door-to-door salesman. I think this used to be a very American thing. I think back in the 50s, you would always see movies where this was actually a profession.
That's right.
People would go door-to-door selling hairbrushes or magazine subscriptions, pretty much everything.
Yeah, you still see it sometimes. Some people sell insurance, or there are a lot of religious door-to-door salespeople who want to sell religious books or magazines. But I think it was much more popular in the 1950s because people didn't really use their phones as much to sell things.
Right.
It was cheaper to have someone drive his car to your neighborhood and then go to every single house.
Right.
But yeah, it's a very interesting job. I think it'd be very lonely.
And also, I think, well, now maybe that's been reduced a lot because now you have the internet.
Oh yeah, well the internet means that the salespeople come to you without you having to get up.
Right.
So basically you're sitting at home in your pajamas and you can order a TV and some clothes.
But it's very interesting because I remember you would have all these door-to-door salesmen. For example, I had one visit me once who was selling me encyclopedias.
Really?
A big collection of 37 books or more. It was a huge amount of books, encyclopedias. And I don't know if you see that anymore.
Not really, not in the States.
I don't know if anyone buys physical, huge encyclopedias to have in their home.
No, only collectors perhaps.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting profession. I don't know, in the United States, as you say, it's not very common anymore. Very little, maybe specific services. But this is interesting. Maybe in your country, this is still a big thing.
Yeah, let us know. In your country, are door-to-door salespeople still common? Do you see them? Our website is englishpod.com. We hope to see you there.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Increase in size, quantity, or worth. Raise. From one house to the next. Door to door. Short private road from a street to a house. Driveway. Agree to pay for an event or activity. Sponsor. The act of giving to a fund or cause. Donation. Seek to obtain by persuasion, entity, or formal. Solicit. A person or an action which collects money for particular purposes. Fundraiser.
Let's try that faster.
Seek to obtain by persuasion, entity, or formal. Solicit. A person or an action which collects money for particular purposes. Fundraiser. The act of giving to a fund or cause. Donation. Increase in size, quantity, or worth. Raise. Short private road from a street to a house. Driveway. Agree to pay for an event or activity. Sponsor. From one house to the next. Door to door.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Raise. After 4 months of doing odd jobs for my neighbors, I finally raised enough money to buy a bicycle. Raise. They were raising money for the people who had lost their homes in the earthquake. Raise. At the end of the fundraiser, the hospital had raised enough money to buy the new machine. Sponsor. He sponsored several kids in the fundraiser. Sponsor. Air Canada sponsored the Vancouver Olympics. Sponsor. Every month, I give money to the child I sponsor in Asia. Driveway. %80 of the profits will go to the people in need, while the other 20% will be spent on administrative cost. Driveway. Two-thirds Z of the profits will go towards the new drum set for the band. Driveway. She was quite surprised when she learned that only a small percentage of the profits would actually be helping kids go to summer camps. Donation. He gave a huge donation to the organization. Donation. I made a donation to my sister's drama fundraiser. Donation. We received so many donations that we raised twice the amount we had set as our goal. Solicit. I solicited around my neighborhood last week to raise money for our school band trip. Solicit. The organization encouraged its members to go door to door soliciting for their cause. Solicit. Many buildings don't allow soliciting.
Welcome back, English learners. My name is Marco, and I'm joined here by the lovely
Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you another great lesson, one of the lessons that you requested.
Yes, that's right. Actually, Maxim S requested this one.
Right. I think he's really into research and investigation, so we're bringing you a great lesson about this topic.
Okay, so I'm really excited to hear this dialogue all about research. So why don't we start listening to two university professors discussing an important question.
We've been over this 1,000 times. The data is irrefutable. Look, we've done extensive research, built studies, and read the literature, and there is conclusive evidence to support my theory.
Horowitz, I beg to differ. Even in your most recent study, the investigative approach was flawed. You know as well as I do, the collection of data was not systematic, and there's a large margin of error. To draw a definitive conclusion based on that data would be misleading.
That is preposterous.
You are trying to single-handedly solve one of the world's greatest mysteries, and yet you're oblivious to the fact that you're wrong.
I am not wrong. The chicken came first.
No! The egg came first!
The chicken.
Egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
All right, so interesting. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
It's an age-old question, isn't it?
And apparently, they are not going to agree anytime soon.
All right, well, what they can agree about is this awesome language. So why don't we take a look at it now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, on Language Takeaway today, we have some really great words, and this first one is really good. Irrefutable.
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 The data is irrefutable.
Okay, so if the professor says that the data is irrefutable, what does he mean by that?
He's saying that you cannot deny it. It is really, really true.
It is really true. There is no way this is a lie.
Exactly.
Okay. Irrefutable evidence, for example.
Yeah, that's a great phrase. All right, so the professor complained that Dr. Horowitz's experiment was flawed.
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 So, flawed. Is that an adjective, a verb, or a noun?
It is an adjective here. Now, when something is flawed, there is a problem with it, right?
Okay,
There's
so
a
it has
mistake.
an error.
Yep.
Okay. So this adjective is a way of saying that his experiment has a flaw.
A mistake.
A mistake.
Exactly.
So flawed is the adjective of a flaw.
Right.
Okay.
Now, the reason that his study or his experiment was flawed is because that it was not systematic.
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 So systematic. That's an interesting word.
Now, I think we can recognize the word system in here, right?
Right?
So when something is systematic, it follows a process.
A certain order.
Yes, a certain system.
Right. So that's basically what systematic means, to follow a certain order, to be more organized, right?
Exactly, yep.
Okay. And what about our next word?
Preposterous.
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 That is preposterous.
I love this phrase.
It usually goes together, right? That is preposterous.
Yep.
Okay, so what does it mean when I say that?
It means it's absurd. It's ridiculous.
Right. It doesn't make sense. I can't believe you said that.
All right. Well, this is a really interesting phrase, but I think it's a little bit more common when it's used by older people.
Yeah, I don't really see a young person going up to someone and say, hey, that's preposterous.
Yeah, but it is a wonderful phrase. Now, our final phrase for takeaway, oblivious.
Oblivious.
You're oblivious to the fact.
So a person that is oblivious to something.
They don't know, or they're unaware.
Okay, so they ignore maybe the facts, or
Exactly.
they don't see it.
Yeah, you're oblivious to the fact that we're in a recession.
Okay, or he is completely oblivious. You can just say it like that, right?
Yep, he doesn't know.
Okay, so we took a look at some of the great vocabulary we found in the dialogue, but there were also some really good phrases that I think we should look at.
Okay, and let's take a look at those and putting it together.
Putting it together.
You know, Marco, one of the things I love about English is the way that words seem to fit together, like blocks coming together. And here we have a lot of great examples of these words that fit together really nicely. Okay, so why don't we look at those? And our first one now is extensive research.
Extensive research.
Extensive research.
All right, so we know extensive means
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
So that's really good when you put it together. Extensive research. It means you have
A lot of research.
you have really studied, you have really looked things up. Okay, extensive research.
Another great research-related phrase here is conclusive evidence.
Conclusive evidence.
Conclusive evidence.
All right, now the first word there, conclusive.
When something is conclusive, you can't argue with it. It's the final decision. All right, well, the professor complained that Horowitz's investigative approach was flawed, right? So this is our next phrase, investigative approach.
Investigative approach.
Investigative approach.
Okay, so I remember the word investigate is a verb.
Yes?
But in this case, it's an
adjective.
It's an adjective.
When something is investigative, it's obviously having to do with
An investigation. So the approach so when he said investigative approach.
just simply the way you investigate
Okay.
the problem.
The way he investigated. Okay. Very interesting. What about this other phrase that I saw? It was really interesting. Definitive conclusion.
Definitive conclusion.
So a definitive conclusion.
All right. Well, again, I think we know the word conclusion, right?
Okay.
So it's a final judgment or decision.
All right.
When something is definitive, you can't argue with it or change it.
Okay, so the conclusion or the final result is final. Like there is no way of arguing it.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Definitive conclusion.
This is some great language. So why don't we listen to it one more time in the dialogue?
We've been over this 1,000 times. The data is irrefutable. Look, we've done extensive research, built studies, and read the literature, and there is conclusive evidence to support my theory.
Horowitz, I beg to differ. Even in your most recent study, the investigative approach was flawed. You know as well as I do, the collection of data was not systematic, and there's a large margin of error. To draw a definitive conclusion based on that data would be misleading.
That is preposterous.
You are trying to single-handedly solve one of the world's greatest mysteries, and yet you're oblivious to the fact that you're wrong.
I am not wrong. The chicken came first.
No! The egg came first!
The chicken.
Egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
The chicken.
The egg!
So, an interesting question. What do you think? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, if you ask me, it was the egg.
It was the egg?
Yeah.
Interesting. What about why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side.
Do you think that's really the reason?
Well, there's a million different reasons, but this is great. I'm glad you brought that up because this is like the classic English joke.
The classic English joke, right? Why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer is always...
Well, there are a million answers. So, do you guys know any chicken jokes?
Yeah, why don't you come to our website, englishpod.com, and on the comments section, why don't you leave us your thoughts on what came first, the chicken or the egg, and why do you think the chicken crossed the road?
Research. Research is the process of finding new information, answering questions, and solving problems. It helps people learn more about the world and make better decisions. Research is used in many fields, such as science, medicine, business, and education. Students, teachers, scientists, and professionals all use research to improve their knowledge and understanding. Why is research important? Research is important because it helps people gain knowledge. Without research, we would not know about history, medicine, technology, or the universe. Research helps doctors find new treatments for diseases. Scientists discover new planets. And businesses understand what customers want. It also helps students learn and develop new ideas. Research allows people to solve problems. For example, if a city has too much traffic, research can help find ways to reduce congestion. If a company wants to sell a new product, research can show what customers need. In education, research helps teachers find better ways to teach students. Types of research. Research is done in many different fields and for different reasons. The way research is conducted depends on the goal, the subject, and the methods used. Some research is based on experiments, while others rely on studying past information. Here are some of the main types of research. Scientific research. Scientific research focuses on understanding the natural world, technology, medicine, and human health. Scientists perform experiments, collect data, and analyze results to discover new knowledge. For example, medical researchers study diseases to find new treatments, while physicists explore the laws of the universe. This type of research helps improve medicine, technology, and our understanding of the environment. Historical research. Historical research is the study of past events, people, and cultures. Historians look at old books, letters, newspapers, and artifacts to learn about history. This research helps people understand how societies have changed over time and how past decisions influence the present. For example, researchers study ancient civilizations to learn how they lived, what they believed, and how they built cities. Social research. Social research focuses on human behavior, cultures, and societies. Sociologists and psychologists study how people interact, what influences their decisions, and how societies change. This type of research helps improve education, economics, and social policies. For example, researchers study how children learn in different environments or how people react to advertisements. Market research. Market research is done by businesses to understand customer needs, preferences, and behaviors. Companies collect information through surveys, interviews, and product testing. This research helps businesses create better products, improve customer service, and increase sales. For example, a company may research which colors people prefer for a new smartphone or what type of food is most popular in a certain area. Educational research. Educational research helps improve teaching methods and learning experiences. Teachers and researchers study how students learn, which teaching techniques are most effective, and how technology can support education. This type of research helps schools develop better curriculums and improve student performance. For example, researchers may study whether online learning is as effective as classroom learning. Medical research. Medical research helps doctors and scientists find new ways to treat and prevent diseases. This type of research includes testing new medicines, studying viruses, and improving surgical techniques. It helps save lives and improve the quality of healthcare. For example, researchers work to develop vaccines for new diseases and find better treatments for cancer. Environmental research. Environmental research focuses on nature, climate, and ecosystems. Scientists study air pollution, deforestation, and global warming to find ways to protect the environment. This type of research helps create solutions for clean energy, water conservation, and wildlife protection. For example, researchers study how plastic pollution affects the ocean and how to reduce it. The research process. The research process is a step-by-step way of finding, analyzing, and understanding information. Good research follows a clear process to ensure accuracy and reliability. Choosing a topic. The first step in research is deciding what to study. Researchers choose a topic based on their interests, current problems, or gaps in knowledge. A good research topic is specific, clear, and meaningful. For example, instead of researching climate change, a researcher may focus on the effects of climate change on Arctic wildlife, gathering information. Once the topic is chosen, researchers collect information from different sources. These sources include books, academic journals, websites, interviews, and past studies. It is important to use reliable sources to ensure the accuracy of the information. Government reports, university studies, and expert interviews are considered trustworthy sources. Asking questions. Research begins with a question that needs an answer. This question helps guide the study and keeps it focused. For example, a researcher studying healthy eating may ask, how does sugar affect children's energy levels? Good research questions help researchers find useful information, conducting experiments and surveys. Some research includes experiments, where scientists test different ideas to see what works. Other research involves surveys, where people answer questions to provide data. For example, a scientist testing a new medicine may compare how two groups of people react to it. A company studying customer behavior may conduct a survey to learn what products people like the most. Analyzing data. After gathering information, researchers study it carefully. They look for patterns, trends, and important facts. This step helps them understand what the information means. For example, if researchers collect data on how much exercise people do in a week, they may find that people who exercise more are healthier. Drawing conclusions. Once the data is analyzed, researchers make conclusions based on their findings. They decide what the information tells them and how it can be used. If the research is about a new medicine, they determine if it is safe and effective. If the research is about education, they see if a teaching method helps students learn better. Sharing results. The final step in the research process is sharing the findings. Researchers write reports, publish articles, or present their results at conferences. This allows others to learn from the research and use it for future studies. Sharing results is important because it helps advance knowledge and solve problems. Challenges in research. Research can be difficult because it takes time, effort, and resources. One challenge is finding accurate and reliable information. Not all sources are trustworthy, and some may contain incorrect or biased information. Researchers must be careful and check multiple sources before making conclusions. Another challenge is time and cost. Research, especially scientific research, can take months or years to complete. Some research needs expensive equipment, travel, or large teams of researchers. Funding from governments, universities, or companies is often required. Ethical issues are another challenge in research. Researchers must follow ethical guidelines to protect people, animals, and the environment. For example, medical researchers must test medicines safely, and social researchers must respect people's privacy. The importance of research. Research is important because it helps people find answers, solve problems, and learn new things. It is used in medicine, business, education, and many other fields. Research improves technology, health, and knowledge. It allows people to make better decisions and develop new ideas. Whether studying history, science, business, or social behavior, research helps expand our understanding of the world. By following a clear process, using reliable sources, and analyzing information carefully, anyone can conduct good research. It is a valuable skill that helps students, professionals, and experts improve their work and make a positive impact on society. Challenges in research. Research can be difficult. One challenge is finding reliable information. Not all sources are trustworthy, and some may contain false or biased information. Researchers must check multiple sources to confirm accuracy. Another challenge is time. Research takes a lot of time, especially when conducting experiments or collecting data. Researchers must be patient and careful in their work. Some research requires funding. Scientific research, for example, often needs expensive equipment and laboratories. Researchers must find financial support from universities, companies, or governments. Ethics in research. Ethics in research means following rules to ensure fairness and honesty. Researchers must not lie about their findings or change data to fit their opinions. They must also respect the rights of people who participate in studies. For example, if a researcher studies human behavior, they must ask for permission from participants and protect their privacy. Scientific researchers must also consider the environment and animals. For example, medical researchers testing new drugs must follow ethical guidelines to ensure safety. Research in everyday life. Research is not just for scientists and students. It is part of everyday life. People do research when they read product reviews before buying something, compare different job opportunities, or look for the best travel destinations. Parents do research to find good schools for their children, and doctors research the best treatments for patients. The internet has made research easier. People can find information quickly with search engines, online libraries, and educational websites. However, it is important to check if the information is true and reliable. The future of research. Research is always changing and improving. Technology has made it easier to find and share information. Artificial intelligence, AI, is helping researchers analyze data faster. Scientists are using advanced tools to explore space, cure diseases, and solve environmental problems. Education is also benefiting from research. Online learning, virtual classrooms, and new teaching methods are improving education worldwide. Research continues to shape the way people learn and communicate. Conclusion. Research is an important part of learning and problem solving. It helps people find answers, make better decisions, and improve the world. Whether studying history, science, business, or health, research provides valuable knowledge. By using reliable sources, following ethical guidelines, and asking good questions, anyone can become a better researcher. Research is not just for experts, it is a skill that everyone can use in daily life.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And my name is Catherine, and today we've got a great upper intermediate level lesson for you all about animal and human rights.
Right. So it's a very debatable topic. People want to protect animals, mistreatment of animals. And this is what we're going to talk about today, protecting animals and giving them rights. Do you think animals have rights?
Well, I think we could leave that for the end. I don't want to, influence the argument here in today's dialogue. But yeah, as you've said, I think it's very much a topic that people can go both ways on.
Mm-hmm. So why don't we listen to our dialogue as two people discuss animal rights, and let's get their opinions on things.
You should have seen the TV show that was on last night. The topic it covered was really interesting. Animal rights.
Do you really believe in that? If they're going to focus on something, they should do it on civil rights.
Yes, but we can't deny that animals are vulnerable, defenseless, and are completely at the mercy of human beings.
I understand your point, but we continue to have transgressions against human rights. If so much attention weren't devoted to the topic of animals, we would then concentrate more on saving a human being instead of protecting a koala.
You can't compare apples and oranges. I believe that both topics are important, and that we can't ignore them. The mistreatment of animals can cause a great environmental imbalance. I believe that governments should prohibit activities like poaching.
Well, you are right on that point. This is the reason that I don't buy leather, and I try to buy synthetic products.
At least you're doing your part. My contribution is to have a pet in the house that I treat like a member of the family.
As long as you don't treat it better than your wife, it's fine.
All right, we're back, and both of them have good points, right? In favor and against. And as you said, they also talk about human rights, which is also a very important topic. But before we discuss this topic, why don't we take a look at the language that was used now in Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, so in Language Takeaway, our first word today is vulnerable.
Okay, vulnerable is a great word. It's a way to describe something. And so something is vulnerable if it can't really protect itself.
So you are in danger of being hurt.
Exactly.
Right? So you're vulnerable. Now, this isn't only used for animals, right? It can be like an army is vulnerable if they don't have strong defenses on the border or something.
Right, or my emotions. I'm feeling vulnerable because I just had a really horrible week and I'm really depressed and I'm emotionally vulnerable.
Okay, very good. So vulnerable. And they also talked about transgressions against human rights.
All right, so a transgression is a thing, it's a noun, and transgression is like doing something harmful to or
against someone
or something.
So a transgression, it's a noun. So is it doing something in a bad way? Or
exactly. It's a bad thing.
It's always negative. You can't.
Exactly.
It's not positive, right?
Right. And so in many prayers, for example, in the Christian faith, you say, Lord, forgive me for my transgressions, for having kind of crossed the line from doing good things to bad things. So you're doing bad things.
Very good. So that's a good way of putting it, to cross the line, to kind of go beyond where you should. All right, so transgressions. And now another very serious problem in the world is poaching. And that's one of the things that they said they should control, poaching.
All right, you might have heard this word in a different context because it does have another meaning, but I'm just going to explain the one meaning here that we're talking about, which is killing animals, especially for sport or for selling their skins and their furs.
Right, so that's poaching. What's the difference between poaching and hunting?
Hunting can be legal, poaching is illegal.
Okay, so that's the main difference. Hunting is usually for sport. You hunt either for food or for sport, right? Legal hunting. But poaching is usually you want to sell, like you said, the fur or the skins or something.
Or the tusks on rhinos or something like that.
Exactly. All right, so poaching. And then they talked about synthetic products. So what is a synthetic product?
Well, synthetic product is something that is man-made. So it's not natural in that it doesn't come from the earth. Cotton is a natural product, and plastic, for example, is synthetic. Or another example.
Nylon.
Nylon is a really good synthetic product. And so people who don't want to use animal products like wool or leather, they prefer to use synthetic products.
And I think maybe you've heard this in clothing. It's called synthetic fibers, right? Like nylon or polyester.
Exactly.
These are all the words that we have for language takeaway today. So why don't we move on now to a couple of very interesting phrases that we saw in the dialogue now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
Okay, this first phrase is, well, it's a common one, but it's definitely not used in very happy circumstances. We say that something or someone is at the mercy of someone else.
Okay, so animals are at the mercy of human beings.
What does this mean exactly, mercy?
So basically, it means that the animals, in this case, don't have control of what's going on. So human beings are the ones that control everything. So if I decide to kill them, then they are at my mercy, at my will, at my whim.
Exactly. And so you could say, I'm at your mercy, Marco. Please just like help me out with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're the one in control. You're the one who can help the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Will you help?
Exactly. I'm at the mercy of someone. And then they were talking and debating this thing, and an interesting comparison came up. You can't compare apples and oranges.
All right, you're going to hear this all the time in English. It's not just a funny little phrase that the person uses. It's a very common idiom.
Mm-hmm.
And so we say, it's like apples and oranges, or you can't compare apples and oranges. And this is essentially saying these are two different things.
Completely different.
Completely different. So I can't compare him and her because it's apples and oranges. They're two different things, two different people.
Right. Because that's what in the movie he said they were like peas and carrots.
They just go together
They go
well.
together? Does that make sense?
Not really. Forrest Gump was a little bit strange like that. But I think the meaning is that if I say that's a big apple and I say that's a small apple, they're all apples, so I can compare them. But I say this is a really big orange and that's a really big apple. Well,
they're
different.
Yeah,
you just can't compare them.
All right. And towards the end, the person said that you're doing your part. Mm-hmm. You're doing your part.
Yeah. So this is a hard one to understand sometimes because it's not like a part in a play. It's more like a part in society. You're helping make society or culture or civilization better.
So you're contributing.
Exactly.
So, for example, what would be an example of a person doing their part towards society?
Well, for example, I don't own a car. I ride my bike, and it's my way of doing my part to help the environment.
Okay, very good.
Because I can't buy a factory that's, very green, or I can't do all these things to change the world. So I'm going to do small things those are my way of doing my part.
Okay. So like another example would be recycling. That's doing your part.
Exactly.
Or in this case, the person bought only synthetic products, nothing made from nature. All right, very good. So very interesting phrases. Why don't we listen to our dialogue for the last time, and then we'll be right back.
You should have seen the TV show that was on last night. The topic it covered was really interesting. Animal rights.
Do you really believe in that? If they're going to focus on something, they should do it on civil rights.
Yes, but we can't deny that animals are vulnerable, defenseless, and are completely at the mercy of human beings.
I understand your point, but we continue to have transgressions against human rights. If so much attention weren't devoted to the topic of animals, we would then concentrate more on saving a human being instead of protecting a koala.
You can't compare apples and oranges. I believe that both topics are important, and that we can't ignore them. The mistreatment of animals can cause a great environmental imbalance. I believe that governments should prohibit activities like poaching.
Well, you are right on that point. This is the reason that I don't buy leather, and I try to buy synthetic products.
At least you're doing your part. My contribution is to have a pet in the house that I treat like a member of the family.
As long as you don't treat it better than your wife, it's fine.
All right, so a debatable topic, animals and animal rights. What do you think?
Well, I'll say this. I would be a hypocrite if I said that it's bad to hurt animals because I'm a meat eater. I like to eat meat and I like to wear leather. But I do think it's bad to mistreat animals. So I try to buy free-range chicken or meat from places I know that treat the animals well. And I definitely disagree with poaching and with using animals, especially endangered animals, for money and cash purposes. And so that's my position. But what's yours? I mean, I know you eat meat too.
No, yeah, of course. And I think even though protection of animals is a very important topic and you don't want the mistreatment of these little creatures that are very vulnerable to us because we're smarter than them in the end. But I think also it has to do a lot with superstition sometimes and kind of mystical and magical things. For example, people killing rhinos because they believe that the rhino horn has amazing curing properties, or or the same thing with elephant tusks and stuff like that. So it also it involves this certain aspect that people almost don't know any better. They truly believe that these things actually work, or that they will help them. So they don't consider the like in the dialogue said, the imbalance that they create in the environment, or the consequences.
Or there might be some very serious evolutionary consequences that we cannot even imagine. And so, things change kind of over time, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. But if we force change really quickly, who knows what the results are going to be? It might be really negative for us.
Exactly, and that's what we want to know now. What do you think about these topics? Because in the end, the environment, animals, they're all connected. If you wipe out all the foxes in a forest, then you're gonna have you're gonna have too many snakes running around, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Come to EnglishPod.com, and where you can leave all your questions, comments, or suggestions, and we're always there to help out.
So we hope to see you there, and until next time, everyone, goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. The rights people have.
Civil rights.
Capable of being decomposed by natural means.
Biodegradable.
Easily hurt or harmed.
Vulnerable.
A prolonged period of time during which no rain falls.
Drought.
Defenseless.
Defenseless.
A severe shortage of food.
Famine.
In a position where you can be harmed.
At the mercy of.
The part of the Earth's surface and atmosphere inhabited by living things.
Biosphere.
Something that is not allowed.
Transgression.
A general term for the research activity that creates a copy of some biological entity.
Cloning.
An unfair comparison of two different things.
Apples and oranges.
To illegally hunt protected animals.
Poach.
Not natural.
Synthetic.
To help accomplish a goal.
Do your part.
Let's try that faster. The rights people have.
Civil rights.
The part of the Earth's surface and atmosphere inhabited by living things.
Biosphere.
Something that is not allowed.
Transgression.
Easily hurt or harmed.
Vulnerable.
An unfair comparison of two different things.
Apples and oranges.
In a position where you can be harmed.
At the mercy of.
To illegally hunt protected animals.
Poach.
Defenseless.
Defenseless.
A severe shortage of food.
Famine.
Capable of being decomposed by natural means.
Biodegradable.
Not natural.
Synthetic.
A general term for the research activity that creates a copy of some biological entity.
Cloning.
To help accomplish a goal.
Do your part.
A prolonged period of time during which no rain falls.
Drought.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
The wound is vulnerable to infection. Vulnerable. A dry forest is vulnerable to fires. Vulnerable. The spawning salmon is vulnerable to predators. At the mercy of. The city is at the mercy of the forest fire. At the mercy of. The lost sailors were at the mercy of the vast ocean that lay ahead of them. At the mercy of. Our city is at the mercy of criminals and gangsters. Something must be done. Transgression. All transgressions of the law will be severely punished. Transgression. She was guilty of the worst moral transgression. Transgression. There are legal consequences for those that transgress the law. Apples and oranges. You can't compare Batman and Superman. It's like apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. The two operating systems are so different. They're like apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. You can't compare those two authors. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Do your part. Do your part. Don't litter. Do your part. Your wife looks so tired. You haven't been doing your part around the house. Do your part. Do your part to prevent climate change and try riding your bike to work.